Hello everyone. Today I want to discuss with you a very important topic about confidence. If you are socially anxious, you go to a restaurant, a cafe, you see a lot of people, and for some reason you want to have this you want people to acknowledge your presence. You want to be seen, you want to be heard, right? You want to impress, to get this validation. You go to a coffee shop, you go to any place, and perhaps there is this missing glamour that you want to experience, right? you know Artistic people, or I would say interesting people. Some people just want to have this acknowledgement. They have this artistic spirit. They have this desire to be acknowledged, to be recognized. That's why many people want to be, stars, movie stars, singers. It's because they want this recognition, this validation. So I have an incredible life hack for you. You see, I had social anxiety. Even though I knew that I was a great person, my self-worth wasn't bad, but I was somewhere in between. I was not totally following myself or my heart, and I was not following the system, or basically I was not a complete cog in the machine, and not a complete wizard, for my life. I was somewhere in the middle, and when you are in the middle, you guys feel like you are a misfit. People criticize you, or many people use shame to speak to you. So if you have a guilt complex, you would attract manipulators that would try and they find out a button that works, which is your guilt complex, because you always tend to explain yourself or over explain yourself. And so that's the kind of people you would subconsciously attract. So you need to, the first step to remove manipulators or any person that gives you the sense of guilt in your life, is to stop explaining as much as possible. Only do when absolutely necessary. This is the first step. Stop explaining yourself. You are a good person. There is no need to do it. Maybe you grew up in a very manipulative family. Maybe you had parents that were, everyone had a very interesting childhood. But regardless, it's our duty and task. I think it's our responsibility to recognize those weaknesses and things, and to change them for better and for good. So if you ask yourself, why would you attract similar situations, or why certain people keep coming to your life? And you may see, okay, one of the things that I think I realized is, if there is something that you despise or don't like in other people, that's a good sign. I mean, you probably are on the good side, right? You see the bad things people do, but at the same time, maybe you also hate that part of yourself. If you dislike lazy people, maybe there is a part of yourself, there's this lazy part of you that you can't accept, or that you should work on. So when you decide to work on yourself, people's laziness no longer triggers you. So instead of changing the world, you would change yourself. And of course, sometimes you can be sometimes you can be a very good person with integrity, and you might despise other people for the lack of conscience. When people, do sordid activities. So, what's behind their sordid activities? Like, what's behind that? In my opinion, it's the laziness and their weakness. And we're not trying to judge anyone here, because you never know their circumstances, you never know how they grew up, you never know, right? If you were in their shoes, maybe you would do worse, right? So we're no like I'm trying to remind myself that I no longer, even if I despise or dislike some actions, I try to no longer judge those people, and I think, why does this trigger me? So maybe it's your integrity signaling. That's wrong, and that's good. That's a good sign that you have it. If you despise, or if you think that, you know, sleazy people have, like, if you dislike sleazy people for their weakness, for their laziness, maybe it's an indicator as well to focus on yourself. Maybe there is some part of laziness in you that you have to work on. Okay, so that's number one. Or number two, you could look at those people and be like, okay, I don't want to have that in my life. I decide and I want to be as good as possible. For example, so where am I going at? So when you go to a social situation or social setting, when you go to the social settings or social situations, the way to feel confident is for you to remember and understand, to get back to your divine essence. Ever since you grew up and were in school, university, conditions, indoctrinations, you have forgotten your true essence. You have forgotten that, you know, you are a divine being. You were taught to work, provide, duty for the school, for the family, family is good, but I'm just telling you that, for the government, for the state, for school, for university, like, you serve everyone else. You use your time to do trifle tasks for everyone, but not yourself. And by time, they have successfully managed to cut your ties, mental ties, with your heart. So your mind and your heart was separated. This is why in reality transurfing it says, when you when you ask God for something truly, like when your heart and mind is united, you create an unfathomable power. You know, despite the presence of God, and when heart and mind unite, they create an unfathomable power. In reality transurfing it says that you can manifest incredible things when they are connected. So the key number one is, remember, look at your life right now. Think of your life. Ask yourself, who are you? Right? Who are you? If you try to, can you tell me your self-concept? What do you value? Right? So if you value family, and what do you value the most in life? What is your value number one, value number two, and value number three in life? By defining your values, you will be able to know your true self. Only 50%. Or maybe 40%. The other 60% is remembering your divine essence. And I'll tell you why. So take a look. Humans build incredibly tall towers, tall buildings, right? They try to touch or reach the sky. They launch rockets, right? There's this inherent or instinctive desire to go back, right? It's as if humans know that they belong there, right? They came from paradise. People strive, humans really strive, and I think strived all the times to get back to heaven. I'll give you one more argument to prove you this point. If you look at animals, they are the native and indigenous beings of this earth. Why? Because they can survive